You know, this year I was quietly going to do Inktober on my own, but then I thought, what if I share my prompt list with my Instagram community? And the response was much better than I thought. Many people have joined and enjoyed all the prompts we did together. So that's why I decided to start the hashtag Draw the Prompt every 2 weeks to give everyone some motivation and inspiration when they don't know what to draw. So today I'm drawing this time's prompt, which is transport. So here we go! I did a very rough sketch just to know where everything should be. But then, before jumping to the line art, I decided to do another more detailed sketch. As you can see, I ended up moving the characters around a bit since I felt that they were too far apart and the piece felt disconnected somehow. So moving Jonah, the boy, just a little bit made a huge difference for me, and with this new sketch I could start the actual line art. Now for the line art, this is usually my favorite part, but I didn't draw anything before this drawing, so I feel like it had a slow start. But once my hands were warmed up and knew what to do, everything went smoothly. Now at this point I realized that I forgot to sketch Jonah's clothes, so yeah, I had to go back to the sketch so to know where and how they behaved. I didn't need to do a lot here, but I always like to have a base to guide from. The shapes I used for his clothing are very simple as well, so it was easy to figure out how would they look in this perspective. Now, for our river nymph, I kinda drew her on a whim. I had the idea to add her to this piece kinda out of nowhere, but I really like how she turned out. She's not fully fleshed out yet, but here I got the idea of adding pointy teeth and I really like the result. I think it adds something unique to her design and reinforces the idea that she's not human. Some other time I want to try and explore her some more, try out different hairstyles, clothing and even coloring, which we will get to. But I'm also not sure about the ears, which right now look like flippers, so it's something to experiment as well later on. Nothing of her in here is final yet, but I'm pretty happy about her design so far, and I know that I'm definitely keeping the pointy teeth because it's my favorite thing of the design. Overall, I really liked working on this line art. It's been some time since I drew such a big piece and I really enjoyed the process. Now, I was having some trouble with Jonah's hand, as you can see. I'll be coming back to it a lot of times throughout the video. In the end, after finishing recording, I decided to give another try to the hand. Of course, the time that I wasn't recording, I managed to draw the hand in like 2 minutes. Turns out the secret to draw a hand is just to stop recording your work. Ha! Joke's on me, I guess. But yeah, sadly I don't have the good hand recorded, but you'll be able to see its final version when you jump into coloring. So, since drawing this mean hand wasn't really working for me, I decided to go for the trees. Now, I don't really do backgrounds that often, so I was a bit worried. But surprisingly, I really like how they turned out and I'm glad I kept it simple. The trees look pretty wintry, just how I wanted, and I like that they're mostly silhouettes. Since they're not the main focus of this drawing, I feel that this is the perfect look for the background. Overall, I had lots of fun with this piece. I started adding extra detail on the boat, but then I felt that it was too distracting, so I went back to the keep things simple mindset. This is always my motto, especially if I'm trying my hand at new things, and we had a lot of new things here. Not entirely new, but the kind of thing I do once a year. So yeah, let's try and change that. Okay, line art done. And now it's time for coloring. I don't really mind coloring, but it's definitely not my favorite part of drawing. Again, since this was a big piece with backgrounds and everything, I felt a bit intimidated by it. Most of the times I draw only characters with maybe some simple details as the background, and here there was a lot happening. We had the trees, the sky, the river, and I also wanted to add some fog to the atmosphere. This was just to highlight the idea of winter, maybe even a winter morning when the sun is trying to peek through the clouds. I try to take it slowly, experiment a lot and see what works and what doesn't. As you can see, I change colors a lot through this process. This happens a lot when I don't have the colors completely planned. I do have some idea on which colors I want to use, but I'm not sure if I like how they work together. For example, I know Jonah's colors and I had to use those. But I also knew that his colors were way too vibrant for this piece. So I had to desaturate them, otherwise there will be too much focus on Jonah. This way everything is balanced. I feel that both Jonah and our river nymph girl are both focused on our piece, and the first thing that catches our eyes. They balance each other. When I felt happy with the colors, all I needed was to add some shading. I also did a lot in redo here because I wasn't entirely sure what I wanted. I usually keep shading very simple, which is what I did, but I knew I wanted the piece to look very wintry and with some fog, but I wasn't sure how to go about it. Everything I tried to do seemed too excessive. I started small and suddenly everything was muddy and there was no focus at all. Finally, I had to stop for a bit and again focused on keeping things simple. So, instead of big blotches of color with the brush, I added smaller streaks and I think this worked so much better. Now for this, I actually tried using different brushes to get different results. I ended up using my pen brush and then a more textured brush for the fog streaks. I really like how the fog turned out. It's simple, but it adds to the atmosphere. That and the tiny rays of sunlight adding a little bit more light. Overall, I'm very happy with how this turned out. I can't wait to draw more of these prompts. Don't forget to like and subscribe and click the bell icon to get notified when a new video is up. And as always, keep on drawing!